Welcome, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, to this week's episode. Today I'm very excited because this is the topic that I've been thinking about lately, and it actually helped me a lot with my productivity issues. I'm one of those people who tried almost everything for productivity. For my personal life, I tried different types of to-do lists and time management rules. I tried several applications and bullet journaling, but unfortunately I cannot really stick to them and they don't really help much to me. And I was wondering how I could solve this problem. And if you're one of those people who are struggling to manage their own personal life, this video might be for you. This is mostly about managing personal life. If you're a manager in a big company with a big team, you definitely would have different methods. So let's start. Everyone is so obsessed with productivity these days. We come up with systems, with routines, trying to figure out what's the best to-do list or application to use so we can finally be productive, finally finish all the things and even more. Well, it might be worth looking into your energy levels. If you don't have enough energy to begin with, it doesn't really matter how elaborate your task management system is, things are just not going to be done. It's physically impossible and mentally draining. But once you get your energy back, it might surprise you that you're great at solving your problems and finishing your projects just with a simple to-do list on a sticky note next to your workspace. How do you see any productivity working in a situation when we wake up tired in the morning, uninspired to do anything, even fun things, might even be drained to the degree that we don't take good care of ourselves, and instead of making a healthy meal, we reach for processed or fast food? For me personally, in situations like this, barely any system works. Bullet journals stop working like on the third day, if not on the second. So we need to look deeper to find the reason why we're sluggish instead of being full of beans. That's where the energy comes in. I think that's actually the root for productivity, and it supersedes any time management and productivity tool you can find. It doesn't really matter what you do for a living or what you study or what kind of hobbies you pursue. For all of this and for the experience of happy and fulfilled life, you need to have energy, personal energy. The force that propels you forward, that drives you to do things that you want and also allows you to finish things that you don't like that much. Your level of energy will also influence your relationship with other people. It is harder to stay in a long and meaningful relationship when one side lacks energy all the time. It inevitably falls apart. And people are extremely attracted to those who beam with energy. Rarely being passive and lethargic is a way to spark some interest in another person, right? There are actually so many things that depend on your energy, that feed on it, and in return can also replenish it back. Your happiness basically is a reflection of how well you manage your energetic reserves. So you might ask, what exactly is the energy you're talking about and how do I get it? On an intuitive level, a lot of us know what it means to have or not have energy. Every one of us can easily say how energetic they are and sure can recognize when you're drained, when you slouch and you hang on a couch or need to sit down and your brain is foggy and it doesn't really want to be asked to do any more processing. So you start procrastinating. And if you are forced to keep working, your mood will quickly sink into a dark abyss. And don't think that all of it is just a physical exhaustion. It definitely is not. For example, when something unfortunate happens in life, we can feel down for many days without even doing anything physically or mentally. Unfortunately, there is no pill or exercise that will magically fill us with sparkling energy and desire to create, have things done, learn new things, and have a party for our friends and family all on the same day. But there is surely a way to cultivate energy and over time become very good at staying at good levels of energy. For this, you will need to learn to maximize your incoming stream of new energy and minimize the loss for unnecessary things. So let's look into each one of these one at a time, at maximization of incoming energy and minimization of unnecessary losses. Let's start with the ways how to maximize the incoming energy. These are going to be the things that I noticed that work well for me and for some of the people that I know. It would be helpful for you to look into your life and notice those things for yourself. For example, what elevates my energy levels is having clean and quiet environment, or sometimes having nice music playing is also very stimulating. Another thing that helps me have high energy is to have a plan, an actionable plan, because not knowing what to do always sucks out my energy. Another thing that helps a lot of people, including me, is to do some movement, some exercising, or go for a walk outside. And you don't want to overdo it because otherwise you're going to be exhausted physically, but some light movement will definitely bring more energy to you. Another thing that definitely is a factor for me is having plenty of healthy sleep. If I don't have enough sleep, I sure will be sluggish all day. Another thing that I always noticed with me is properly hydrating. I need to drink plenty of water and add some electrolytes to it, and then I feel really refreshed and I don't have brain fog. Another thing that is very stimulating and brings me more energy is finishing or accomplishing something. One of the biggest motivators for anyone is seeing progress. Even making just something small like a good lunch can be very helpful. Another thing that often gives me a boost of energy is listening or watching to an inspiring story that I can relate to. Because when I see what people accomplished and I can relate to them, that adds me more confidence and gives me energy boost that I can also accomplish good things. Another thing that helps me a lot is seeing my good friends or spending time with loved ones, especially in time of isolation. This is very, very helpful. And of course, don't forget to be kind to yourself. Treat yourself every once in a while. Take a relaxing bath. Definitely stop before you feel exhausted. Read a book instead of being productive. Or skip a trip to a grocery shop if you're feeling tired. Alright, let's move to the opposite side and look at the items that actually drain us of energy. And we would like to minimize those things in our lives. For example, one of the things that definitely drains my energy is reading news and scrolling through social media. It could be something to do with dopamine, but every time I finish scrolling through social media, I don't want to do anything. If I still want to scroll through social media, I usually find the moment when I'm ready to chill, when I don't have anything else to do at the end of the day, and I will usually set time frame when I can do this, and once I'm finished, I'll just go and read a book. Another thing that definitely drains my energy is looming chores. Some unfinished business that needed to be done last week. Every time I have something on my list that is somewhat urgent, but I keep postponing it, it just takes so much of my brain space that it's just better to do it right away. Another thing that is definitely energy depleting is people who waste their time or people that make you feel drained after you spend time with them or talk to them. Either remove them from your life or if it's not possible, just minimize the amount of time that you interact with them. And the last thing that is also relatively universal for everyone is making decisions. Making decisions is very taxing on your brain, and you can free yourself from a lot of decision making by choosing things in advance. For example, having same clothing for every day or every day of the week, and you don't need to choose what to wear each day when you get up. Or you can prepare food in bulk in advance or have a menu for an extended period, like a weekly menu that repeats itself throughout an entire month. So you don't need to decide what to cook on each day. You can choose to go to the same coffee shop that you like instead of choosing different coffee shops. You can use the same stationery that serves you well. Unfortunately, you cannot always prepare your choices in advance, and in this situation, you need to be able to make quick and pain-free decisions. And one of the things that I find very useful for this is what has the name of the Bezos regret minimization framework, kind of a fancy name for a very simple trick. The idea is that your goal in making a decision is to minimize the number of regrets in life. So when you are faced with a difficult decision, what you want to do is project yourself into the future. Look back on the decision that you are supposed to make right now and ask yourself, will I regret not doing this? And then, depending on what your answer is, you take action. If you have a decision that is not very difficult, what helps you is understand that when you're trying to make a decision, you're trying to kind of predict the future and lower the amount of uncertainty, but that's really impossible because the world is unpredictable. And since we cannot get rid of uncertainty, then you don't need to stress about decision making. If you have two relatively equal choices, just pick one and go on, because you cannot predict the future, and this might be just as good of a decision as any other. So these are the examples that I find to be the most effective for me personally and for people that I know. But after listening to this video, try and make your own lists. Just try to notice what makes your mood and spirit plummet, what makes you feel tired and exhausted, and avoid those things. On the other side, also make note of what elevates your mood, what suddenly makes you feel more motivated and joyful, and make sure that these things are present in your life regularly. These things are very individual. I showed you my personal examples. Some of it definitely will apply to many of you, but a lot of things will be yours and yours only, and you need to find them yourself. I hope that after this video you will know how to take care of your own personal energy reserves, and it will change your productivity game forever like it changed mine. Thank you for joining me for this video, and I will see you next time.